Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at the last normal difficulty bow, which is the Blastbark Longbow. The Blastbark Longbow seems to be pointed specifically at an exploding arrow Amazon, because it has a pretty good amount of plus skills to exploding arrow. This bow can be upgraded to the Nightmare difficulty and the Hell difficulty versions, and it probably upgrades pretty well to the Nightmare difficulty version, but pretty poorly to the Hell difficulty version. So let's take a look at that, shall we? So right off the bat, you'll notice that this, of course, is a long war bow. It is 6 to 52 damage. It does have a rather large spread. So kind of like a really bad spread, actually. So it's going to hit for next to nothing sometimes. And then sometimes it's going to hit for a lot. But a lot of times it's going to be in the middle, somewhere in between 6 and 52. We have a pretty decent requirements here of 65 dex and 50 strength. Most characters can usually do that without issue. We also have level 28 requirements, so this is going to be something that you're going to be using toward the end of normal difficulty, the beginning of Nightmare difficulty. We got +1 Amazon skills, so it could definitely come in handy for a wide variety of characters. And we also have 130% enhanced damage on here. Unfortunately, the enhanced damage varies by quite a bit, from 70 to 130%, which means you could potentially find this in a rather poor condition. If you were going to upgrade this, you would definitely want to find one closer to the 130% mark than the 70. It's actually, what is that variable? 70, 80, 90, 100, so it's a 60% variable. Pretty big variable, to be honest, especially considering at its minimum, it only has 70% enhanced. So at its maximum, it's almost double the damage that it is at its minimum. We have 3% mana steal per hit, which is static. Definitely nice to have, especially if you're going to be an elemental damage character. And we have +2 exploding arrow, which means we have a total of +3 to exploding arrow, so very nice for exploding arrow. And the mana steal, of course, is going to come in handy to help you spam that exploding arrow. And we also have +5 strength, which doesn't really do much except for let you put on some equipment. This bow can be upgraded, and we're definitely going to upgrade it. So let's take a look and see what it upgrades to. So right off the bat, you're going to need a Ral rune, a Soul rune, and a Perfect Emerald. And this bow is going to upgrade from the Blastbark Long War Bow to the Gothic Bow, which is 6 to 52, 65 dex, 50 strength, level 28. To 23 to 115 damage, actually not bad at all. 118 dex requirement and 95 strength, and only level 33. Actually a really good upgrade for an exploding arrow bow. The physical damage went up very nicely. Has 3% mana steal, which is definitely going to come in handy when you're trying to fire off all those exploding arrows. And quite honestly, the +3 exploding arrow is definitely going to help beef up your damage a little bit, and the +1 to all skills probably also going to help you quite a bit with your dodges, your evades, maybe your Valkyrie, your pierce, your penetrate, and even your critical strike. So definitely very nice to have +1 skills in combination with the +2 exploding. They could have just gone +3 exploding and just screwed you over, but it's kind of nice to have the combination of the two. Also keep in mind that this will actually give you the exploding arrow skill, so if you don't already have it, it will give you level 3 exploding arrow. So when you put it on, you immediately have level 3 exploding arrow, whether you want it or not. Now we can upgrade this a second time to the elite tier, and I do not think it's going to upgrade well to the elite tier. It's going to be rather pathetic, but let's do it anyway, and let's take a look at it, shall we? So we're going to go from 23 to 115 damage, 118 dex, 95 strength, level 33, to 23 to 156 damage Hydra Bow, 167 dex, 134 strength, level 75. So very bad upgrade to tier 3, very good upgrade to tier 2, and honestly, it's a pretty decent bow to upgrade to tier 2 because the damage went up very nicely. And it could definitely help carry you through Nightmare difficulty. I feel like the Blastbark Gothic Bow very easily could carry you through Nightmare difficulty with the +3 exploding arrow, the mana steal, and the decent speed. I would probably sock it with a Shell rune though, to make it a little bit faster. It's like my go-to when it comes to bows because I want to fire as fast as possible. And the damage on it is already nice. It has Mana Steel, so I don't need to add that. So really what we're looking at is a Shale Rune, just to make it a little bit faster so that we can actually hit our higher breakpoint. Long warbows are not exceedingly fast items. They're actually 10 speed items, which means they're above 0. So putting a Shale Rune in it, I think would make it -10, I think. Can't even remember right off the top of my head. I know I got Shale Runes laying around. So now we're a very fast attack speed bow, as opposed to a fast. Let's take a look real quick and see where we could potentially find this if we wanted to get our hands on a Blastbark. Usually you just end up finding one, I'm going to be honest with you. Usually, you usually don't have to go find it. It finds you. It finds you. Alright, so looking at bosses first, and pretending we have about 100% magic find, we are going to be looking at... interesting. So normal Bale, 1 in 512. Nightmare and Doriel, 1 in 545. Normal Diablo, 1 in 650. I would probably farm normal Diablo, 1 in 650. That's probably your best bet. Although you could obviously farm Bale for EXP. And if he drops it, right? Taking a look at super uniques. Normal Neelathak isn't bad at 1 in 4,000. He's pretty easy to farm if you follow my guide on finding him. And normal Pindle Skin has a pretty decent chance at 1 in 6,000. So a lot of good choices for farming this if you wanted to get it in normal difficulty before you hit Nightmare, which is definitely good. You probably want to upgrade it. I'm gonna say like a Ral and a Soul Rune and a Perfect Emerald is not that expensive. And the upgrade from tier 1 to tier 2 was actually pretty good. So definitely consider, if you actually want to use this on an Exploding Arrow Amazon, upgrade it to tier 2. Do not, however, upgrade it to tier 3. It is a terrible upgrade to tier 3. It is not worth the pull and the Lumrune. You're better off spending those on something else. That's pretty much it. As always, I do appreciate you guys watching my videos, even when they are a blast. And as always, eat some bark.